here.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite soul character's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 wave, which is the first wave of that wave. I know that's confusing. Vance, Astro, and Angela. So let's get started. It's been a while since we looked at some Marvel Legends. Let's get started. Real quick, though, before we do, I just want to say I got this Nova, and the feet broke right out of the packaging. So I got to return it and hope that I can get a replacement if... Anyway, so some of these reviews might be delayed. We'll see how it goes. But it's just a bummer. Unforeseen circumstances. Nothing I can do. It's like that guy in that kid's movie on the subway, if you know what I'm talking about.
I have no legs. I have no legs.
So here's Vance Astro. We'll talk about the accessory real quick. Same Captain America shield we've seen 1,000 times. Got a more of a saturated blue in there, so that's nice. And it is clean, all of it, all the painted work and stuff. Like it's cast in this metallic red, and then this is painted on. It looks good. The blue's painted, and then it all looks good. Clips onto his wrist like we've seen 1,000 times before. Pegs into his back like we've seen 1,000 times before. And he can also hold it like we've seen. Maybe this hand. 1,000 times before. So with that gone and out of the way, let's talk about the figure. A lot of issues here. The white is like, it's almost pearlescent, but it's not quite. And then the blue is definitely a metallic blue. It works in some cases, it doesn't work in others. You can probably see the shoulders don't match this portion, and there is some mixed match parts. It was from getting it out of the packaging, it tore off a piece, or I don't know. It damaged it some kind of way right there. And I don't know. So all that stuff is a bummer, okay? The face sculpt is good, and the eyes are painted well. So that's a plus. It's on a hinged ball peg. It gets you up to there, down to there, and then swivels. So all that works well. The shoulders... You have a little bit of a butterfly joint because of the cut of the chest. So you can get the arms about that far across his chest. The arms themselves are on ball hinges, or actually disc hinges. So that gets you out to there and then around. So no problems. I have blue paint chipping on this side like crazy. Not so bad on this side, but a little bit. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Wrist swivel and hinge, and pretty much the same on the other side. We have, and like we got some gonky paint going on up in there. See how it is on the other side. Ah, even worse. Great googa mooga. That's terrible. That's probably tampoed on there. That looks good. The little symbol. Waist swivel works fine. We have a ab crunch, gets you one click back. One click forward, that's all okay. And then the hips get you out to there, front all the way. Thigh swivel, these blues don't match up either because this is blue painted on the white. This is white, it looks like, yeah, look how it's tearing that up. Is that possible? I guess this shoulder piece is cast in the blue and the white is painted on. I don't know if there was a way to do that better, but ooh, that's bad. I'm going to leave that alone. The more you mess with it, the worse it's going to get. It's like a double-edged sword. I don't know if that's a minor pain imperfection due to the sculpt of the leg. So, yeah, not the best. Double-jointed knee, no problem there. Boot swivel, the blue once again is painted onto the white here, so that doesn't match. And then the foot hinges up. Hinges down, so you get the tilt both ways, so to speak, and then you get the rocker. That all works well. So, yeah, kind of a bummer. The good news is it gets better. Angela's quite well done. I had her holding onto this sword, which is an accessory. We'll take that out. It is all bent up from the packaging. Hopefully a blow dryer or something can fix that. Not 100% sure, but, you know, it's fine. The silver's painted on, the rest is cast. It's okay. It's going in the scabbard. It's never coming back out. And I think I'm going to do that right now because looking at it is irritating me. So there. She also has two of these things, like these little axes. And she can hold them, but her fingers are really tight. So I'm going to do it once this is over and then keep it there. This character, for those that don't know, was originally an Image character. It was created, or co-created at least. I think it might have been created completely by a guy named Jesse. I forget his last name. Starts with an M. Marquez, something like that. And he worked on Spawn with Todd McFarlane, which is where she first appeared. And he felt like she was his character. I guess McFarlane felt like she was his, and they went to court, and Jesse won, so it was his character, and then he sold it to Marvel, and then she appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's cool to have her, because I know her more from Spawn than I do from Guardians, but I have read the Guardians comics and a bit, and it is nice to see like a modern Angela. I dig it a lot. And she's pretty well done, so let's talk about that. A lot of it is new, by the way, new parts, and I've seen some things I haven't seen in a Marvel Legend maybe ever, so we'll talk about it from head to toe. Let's raise up and really get into this one. So the head sculpt is great. The hair is a little wonky, but she's in space a lot of the time, so I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's kind of going everywhere. It's a little crazy, and there's not a lot of depth to it. There is some shading on it, but not a ton, and then it suffered some from being in the packaging, which I've seen on most of these. This piece is then glued on, and it looks like it might be enridged like in her face a bit because it sits really tight against her face. All the paint on her face is done really well. Those little eye markings and such, the paint around the eyes themselves, and the lips, and it's a good sculpt. So all that works well. It's got the floating scarf on, and this is all painted and sculpted. It could be better, but it could be a lot worse, as we all know. The head itself is on a ball hinge. It's funny, like, it seems like it sits up a little further than it normally does, but you still get down to there without destroying the sculpt too much. So I think that's pretty good. And then up to there, so that's not a lot. And of course you get the swivel. The shoulders are on disc hinges, as we've seen 1,000 times at Marvel Legends. The shoulder pads are sculpted on to both. It'd be nice if it was in focus, right? They're sculpted onto both, so they do get out of the way fairly well. Doing that excessively is probably going to affect the glue. This one is cast in silver. This one looks like it's, I mean, this one's cast in gold. This one's cast in silver and then painted gold on top, and that looks really, really good. And then the armbands and stuff are sculpted onto their arms and painted. It looks really sharp. Yeah, this floating piece is like just a little extra accent. It looks like the top of her sleeve, and then the cyber type arm is sculpted and painted underneath. That's a lot of love. That's a lot of love. You get the swivel out of it too, so no problems there. No bicep swivel, but you get it at the elbow, so that's fine. Single jointed elbow getting you 90 degrees. Forearm is all sculpted and painted. This gauntlet is sculpted and painted, and it looks like part of the same piece. Looks like part of the same piece to me. The wrist swivel and then hinge up and down, and then they're cast in purple. So that's all fine. Same for the other side, except we have a different floating piece here. The cyber stuff is still sculpted and painted, except this one is cast, this one's painted. This piece is still another floating piece, and then the gauntlet, it looks like this gauntlet might be glued on. It's hard to tell. Either way, it looks good. The gold is painted on and the red is painted on. It all looks good. And this hinges in and out. So I'm good with that option-wise. We have a ball peg for the diaphragm, which gets you a great range. I can't help, like, I don't know what they did here. Like, I feel like that's better than normal. I don't know. The chest piece is sculpted on, it looks like, and then painted, and it's painted relatively clean. Got outside the lines a little bit right there, but for the most part, it's clean. No shading on the skin, but I think that we shouldn't really expect that with a $20 figure. Even the drawers are sculpted on. Well done. This piece is a floating piece. It's all glued together, so that is what it is. No shading or anything, and mine did get a little messed up in the packaging right there. This is all sculpted well. All the little studs in the belt are sculpted. This part is sculpted. It's all, this part down here is painted. The lip of the scabbard is painted. It looks good. As long as it's sitting down, it hides this. Even though this is sculpted, it still looks weird, so it looks better like that, obviously. T-jointed ball joints for hips get you out to there, which I think is okay. Forward to there, so that's perfect. Thigh swivel. These straps on her legs are sculpted and painted. And this is what I've never seen before. This thigh section, this knee, this calf, this foot are all cast in the same gold. And then this thigh is sculpted to fit around it so that they didn't have to paint it. And this just inserts on and it looks friggin' seamless. And it's really well done. And it's a smart way to get around having to paint it. And then especially for these paints, which would ultimately mismatch because you know they wouldn't paint this. This is the type of decisions I like to see them making that are both cost effective and aesthetically pleasing. I dig that a lot. Double jointed knee, and that looks really good. And then we have the ankle tilt up, ankle tilt down, and ankle rocker. So all that stuff works really well. A really, really great piece. I must say, I am floored by her. I think that they did a tremendous job. Final thoughts wise, this Vance Astro is a complete throwaway. There's nothing really innovative here. There's nothing really new. And then of those two things, they still found a way to really not make it noteworthy and almost make it kind of junky. The paint is the only thing they had to nail, and they don't nail it. So don't buy that figure unless you're planning on getting the Build-A-Figure. It's just not worth it. Or if you're a huge Vance Astro, you've just been waiting for you've been chomping at the bit for the Vance Astro figure, I guess get it, because when's the next time you're going to get one? Probably never. As for the Angela figure, if you are remotely interested, definitely pick her up. This is an example of one of those kind of Marvel Legends Renaissance pieces I've been talking about for the last year, where it's like this sign of new energy in that department, where figures are being produced at like a how did they do that at a $20 price point level. She is absolutely, positively worth the money and one of the best Marvel Legends I've looked at in the recent history. So I definitely recommend her. I only recommend him if you're in for the Build-A-Figure. Otherwise, avoid at all costs. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.